Like many people, traveling is a real passion of mine. There's something about experiencing other cultures and meeting other people around the world that continues to draw me year after year. But what if I told you that you had the opportunity to not only visit another country, but to really make an impact? That's exactly what UNC Professor Brent Sr. has been doing for the past 25 years. Through his many trips to Vietnam, Dr. Sr. has had the opportunity to impact the lives and careers of many of Vietnam's best surgeons. My name is Dr. Scott Hardison, and I'm one of the Rhinology and Skull-Base Surgery Fellows at the University of North Carolina. As one of Dr. Sr.'s current trainees, I was excited to visit Vietnam for the first time and meet other people that he's trained over the years. This was made possible by Resource Exchange International, a nonprofit organization that is working to build professional capabilities in the developing world.
That's what REI specializes in, bringing people in who want to come again and again and establish relationships with individuals who eventually turn out to be national leaders.
My name is Brent Sr., and I've been participating in mission work in Vietnam for the last 13 years. When I come here, I see patients in the clinic, I operate in the operating room side by side with the residents and with the attending physicians. We work together on the patients. It's just sort of carrying what I do at home and bringing it here. REI's philosophy is really people is what it is. It's building relationships with individuals and seeing those relationships with individuals build the country.
After 30 hours of travel, Dr. Sr. and I arrived early on Sunday morning in Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. After a stunning ride from the airport, our first priority was to check into our hotel. The Zephyr Hotel in central Hanoi proved to be a wonderful place to stay. Our next priority was to meet up with one of Dr. Sr.'s friends and former residents. Harold Pine is a professor and subspecialist in pediatric otolaryngology at the University of Texas Medical Branch in Galveston, Texas. And he's also going to be one of my future colleagues when I join their faculty next year.
So for me, my first trip to Vietnam, my first trip to Hanoi, there were no bridges, no overpasses, frankly, no cars. Hanoi was quiet because it was all bicycles, people just pedaling around on bicycles everywhere. And over the years, I've seen it just explosive growth with everyone now having cars and driving all over the place. And you see in the distance all those large buildings out there. None of them were there. It's just been unbelievable, actually, how much this place has grown and how much it's changed. It's been 25 years, actually. I first came in 1998, and my first trip was just sort of accidental in many ways. I really wanted, after I did my training, to do something. I wanted to do some sort of outreach, some sort of humanitarian work, kind of use my skills, use what I had learned to try to help people outside of just Chapel Hill or North Carolina or Michigan or wherever I was at the time. And this opportunity came up, and I just took advantage of it, and it's become kind of a labor of love ever since, and coming back every year since then.
So I was a fourth-year resident with Dr. Senior, and I remember asking him in his clinic, hey, can I come to Vietnam with you? And I remember him saying, well, there has never been a resident before.
Yeah, it was, as Harold was saying, it was, I didn't really know what to expect and how the Vietnamese would view it when we brought someone with us who was a trainee. But Harold was so well received, and other residents and fellows that we have brought with us over the years have been really well received. And I think, honestly, it's part of the educational process. We show them how we educate. We show them how our residents and fellows work with us in the operating room and work with us in the clinics. And that's all part of the educational process, which I really think it's been a positive thing, a very, very positive thing.
Yeah. It's hard to say, but to tell the truth. So, tao đánh đổi màn đêm yên giấc viết những bài nhạc hay nhất cuộc đời. Sáng là nguồn cảm hứng fan theo răm rap nhạc tao thuộc lời. Trên bàn tiệc của tiên và quỷ, tao là thằng duy nhất được mời. Mọi thứ đổ dồn hết vào tao như kiểu tao là một ván cực hơi. Tao là đứa con của mặt trăng, mang năng lượng mặt trời. Cuộc đời xoay tao như trực thăng, vẫn vượt lên như thể gặp thời. Tao không vứt đi bản chất tao như mấy thằng khác để ví được lời. Nếu mày cũng mặc nặng mày nhẹ, việc không đồng ý thì thôi được rồi.
After navigating the wonderful chaos of Hanoi's streets, our team arrived for our first day at the National ENT Hospital. This is the country's premier facility for the care of all disorders related to the head and neck. All of us were really excited to see not only a hospital in a different country, but one dedicated just to ENT. This hospital represents a blend of the old and the new Vietnam. The old French building gives way to the more modern tower constructed by the Vietnamese. From atop the hospital's new tower, you get a breathtaking view of the city and the life on the streets below. This was also a great opportunity to meet some of Dr. Senior's former fellows. Among these graduates of the program is Tran Viet Luan. He is now one of Vietnam's premier rhinologists and skull-base surgeons. Like many of his colleagues, Luan came to UNC to study. He told us that at UNC he had the chance to gain a wide range of experience in rhinology that he was then able to bring back to Vietnam. Between his first-hand experience in the United States and REI's annual trips bringing rhinologists to Vietnam, Tuan has been able to develop his professional capabilities beyond what would have normally been possible prior to this relationship. Next, we met with another of Dr. Senior's close friends and long-term colleagues, Dr. Kine. He is the director of the National ENT Hospital. After having a chance to meet our Vietnamese colleagues, we went down to the rhinology floor of the hospital and got to work examining patients, reviewing films, and selecting surgical cases for the upcoming week. In this particular case, we selected an inverted papilloma, which would serve as an excellent teaching case. I immediately found that the teaching atmosphere of this hospital was very reminiscent of my own training as a resident and fellow in the United States. The group discussed the patient's case and weighed the pros and cons of various treatment options. In the end, we had a solid plan in place for the patient's care and looked forward to surgery the next day. The following day also marked the start of a rhinology pre-course being held in advance of the ASEAN ORL H&S Federation's annual Congress. This course drew in residents and practicing otolaryngologists from across Southeast Asia and beyond. REI and the Vietnamese Society of Otorhinolaryngology had been instrumental in planning this course. Among the faculty were experts from across the world, including our friend Kazuhiro Omura. Dr. Omura is one of the premier skull-base surgeons in Japan and also spent a period of time working at UNC just last year. Through a series of lectures and panel discussions, it was fascinating to hear the broad range of perspectives from surgeons in Vietnam as well as from around the world. In the end, it was amazing to see how much we had in common with our Vietnamese colleagues in terms of the approaches we take to patient care. And this is really what REI's mission is all about, the exchange of ideas and the building of professional capabilities in developing countries. Now, it's impossible to talk about REI's work in Vietnam without talking about this woman, Madame Lien. She will be well known to many of my Vietnamese colleagues and any of my friends who have participated in REI missions in the past. She handled every aspect of our trip, ensuring that we never had to wonder how to navigate the city, where to eat, or where we were supposed to be at any given time. She is truly invaluable to the organization. In the afternoon following the lecture series, we went to the operating room to perform the inverted papilloma case. We were able to live broadcast this to the conference room so that the attendees of the conference could actually see the surgery and follow along with what we were doing. The dynamic in here was very similar to what we see in the United States as far as a teaching hospital atmosphere. Overall, I had a wonderful experience in Vietnam. I made many new friends and look forward to coming back in the future. Now, don't worry, this wasn't all work. We managed to also have some fun in Vietnam too.
lòng em đã hết chỗ, không để dành ai khác ngoài anh ra. Cưa vào tim em chìa khóa đây, chỉ muốn duy nhất anh cầm, nhiều hơn cả thích thích, sợ em yêu yêu à. Vì baby anh là la 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 la, ngoại lệ của em la 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 la. Vì anh là ngoại lệ của em la 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 la, ngoại lệ của em la 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 la. Vì anh là ngoại lệ của em. Sao em lại mềm lòng rồi? Cứ xong rồi, đi tông bao nhiêu công tự đề phòng rồi. Tôi không sao như em có một lời phải dặn anh trước. Tim em không phải thủy tinh, nhưng cũng mong anh tương tự. Mong anh sẽ giữ gìn, nhưng chỉ làm em tương tư. Cách anh luôn có tâm kiên trì, làm mọi điều người vượt đều bay đi. Cách anh luôn ấm áp dịu dàng, dù nhẹ nhàng mà đủ làm băng tan. Sự nghiêm khắc của em cũng nào đâu có ngờ, mọi nguyên tắc lập nên chỉ để anh phá vỡ. Rốt cuộc là chẳng còn khả năng chống đỡ.